the United States, kids are coming face to face. There's no faster name in town.
Turmoil! Something's coming after you. Careful, Frank!
Falling balls.
You will... Give it up.
They keep coming at you on the screen. It's good enough to make you...
Turmoil for your Atari VCS, one of the new games of the century from 20th Century Fox.
Hey everybody, Big Friendly with Gen X Memories here. In this video, I want to talk about what I think is probably one of the more underrated games for the Atari 2600. It's almost kind of gets lost in shuffle and forgot about. It's called Turmoil, and it was put out by 20th Century Fox Games in 1982. And the game always kind of reminded me of like a two-dimensional version of the arcade game Tempest. You know, it's real frenzied and panicked, and you're always trying to move around and fire and, you know, keep the enemies at bay. And of course, it gets harder and harder as it goes along. But it's a game that's still fun to play now. You know, a lot of these old games, just there's not much play value in them anymore. But this game is a lot of fun, and the graphics are very colorful. I think if this game had been released by Activision or Magic, it would probably be more remembered and just well known in the gaming public, the retro gaming public. But I want to bring up a photograph from back in I think it's March of 1983. What you see here is a picture of me on the left, and the kid on the right, his name is Pat. He was a friend of mine, and we all went to school together. Pat I lived out in the country, of course, and Pat lived in town in Montgomery, and he actually had an Intellivision, and it's one of the few times I really got to play with one is whenever I would go over to his house to visit. He had his siblings were all very nice family, super nice people. Kind of lost touch with Pat. I mean, we went together, we were to school together all the way through high school, and I still saw him some in my early 20s. I think the last time I saw him was in the early 90s at a bar in Montgomery called Roper's, I believe it was. It was a country and western bar. Anyway, I think his fiance was with him, but I lost touch with him. Real nice guy though, super nice. And the other kid, his name is Mark, and he lived next door. Him and he had a brother and sister, but I was real tight with him and his little brother, and so we were always at each other's house hanging out, and it was kind of cool because in Christmas of 1982, I got a ColecoVision, and him and his sister and brother, I guess they got a Atari 5200. So, boy, that we had a week or so after Christmas before we had to go back to school, and man, we wore a path. I mean, our houses were kind of we lived out in the country, so they're spaced apart a little bit. We wore a path between each other. In fact, it was so ridiculous. I remember one time they had gotten Star Raiders for the 5200, and they didn't really. It's not a game you can just pick up and play. I mean, you have to know what you're doing. And I was immediately fascinated by the game. So I was over his house, looking at the manual, trying to kind of figure out what was going on. And then I noticed he wasn't around, and the phone rings, and his mom answers the phone, and Scott, it's Mark on the phone. He's calling me from my house to his house, and I get on the phone. He's like, "Hey man, I just beat the elevator level on Donkey Kong on the ColecoVision." But anyway, that's a story for another day. That we had a lot of fun that time. But Mark lived right next door to me. Him and his brother Chad. We all got along real well when we grew up. Played a lot of video games, hung out. They had a swimming pool, so we always had a lot of fun. But I want to go ahead and let's go ahead and start the game up, and let's play it, and then we'll take a look at we'll do a quick look at the guy who made it, because he's a real legend. I didn't really know who he was until I just did some basic research on the internet, and then we'll look at this game from a collector standpoint. All right, let's play. Quick edit, y'all. Sorry, I'm so bad to just wander off and get sidetracked. The reason I showed y'all that picture was because on that particular day, I remember it very well. We were playing Turmoil a lot. And my mother had taken me to rent a game to the video game rental club that we had in town. Really fun place. And I had rented Dragon Stomper and the Starpad Supercharger, and I had rented Turmoil. And so that's what we were doing in this picture. We were playing those games and we were having a lot of fun. But I just want to tell y'all that. Okay, let's go play. Now, one of the cool things I like about Turmoil, as with many great Atari games, is that you can just pick it up and play it, get you a quick video game fix, 10, 15 minutes, and turn it off. It's real fun. It starts out like a lot of Atari games. It starts out pretty slow, pretty easy, but the difficulty on this game ramps up pretty quick. Those blinking circles, they're worth 1,000 points, but you got to jump down there and get them quick because they start bouncing back and forth and they'll kill you. But they're worth 1,000 points if you can get down the tube and get them. See? And sometimes those slower ones get in the way and tanks will start coming too. You'll get tanks, and you can only shoot them from the back. You can't shoot them from the front. You can't destroy them from the front. There's one. Oh, man. Yeah, you see things are starting to ramp up now. It can be kind of annoying trying to get down. It's hard. You can't see the lines for the tubes, so it can be kind of hard to get down there and get out. And you can't camp out in one spot either. Ah. Dang. See those slow ones? Ah! You think that would be the easiest, but they just clog up the middle. Stupid hot dog. All right. It is kind of satisfying whenever you just rake the whole thing and blow them all away. Oh! Dadgummit. All right. Let's see if I can at least get to 40. Try to at least get to 40,000. Dadgummit. May not make it. Yeah, that's it. I did make it to 40 barely. But you see, it's a really cool game. It really is. It does remind me a lot of Tempest. All right, let's talk a little bit about the fellow who made this thing, because he is a legend. Okay, the guy who made this game, Turmoil for the 2600, his name is Mark Turmoil. And he's been around for a long time. He still works today, as far as I know. But anyway, his first game that he ever worked on was a game called Sneakers that was released for the Apple II in 1981, which means the guy was learning to code in the 70s. He went on from there to make several more games for computers, and then he moved to the Atari. He did some 2600 stuff, including Turmoil. That was in the early 80s. And he's had his hand in lots of different gaming systems over the year, consoles, portable, regular. He's been in arcade games. I think it might be safe to say that maybe his biggest impact would have been NBA Jam in 1993. I never was a big fan of the game, but I know it was huge. My old roommate from years ago, he loved playing it. And this, if you want to learn more about Mark, there's stuff all over the internet. I mean, there's an interview over on Reddit. He's got stuff on YouTube. But I do want to share one thing I found that I just think is really funny, really, really great. It was an article in the Detroit Free Press. I'll just read this real quick. It's not long. In 2008, Turmoil confirmed a long-standing theory that he programmed the Chicago Bulls to miss last-second shots against the Pistons in NBA Jam. Turmoil recently saw his name reemerge in the news cycle after repeating the revelation during an interview with Ars Technica. When you're a Pistons fan and also the lead designer and programmer of the world's most popular NBA game, those are the liberties you can take. That is just so cutthroat. Here's a picture of him right there. I think that picture was taken in 2017. Looks like a nice fella. But yeah, like I say, if you want to learn more about Mark, there's stuff all over the internet about him. Y'all forgive my editing skills. I'm kind of learning how to do this as I go. Okay, we're over to Atari Age. And have y'all been to Atari Age yet? If you haven't and you're getting into collecting retro games, you really ought to check them out. They're a great place, great resource, great community. Okay, Turmoil, Atari Rarity Guide. 1 being most common, 10 being impossible to find. They got it as a 3, so it's not hard to find at all. It doesn't, looking back, I was collecting games years ago before the internet. I wouldn't always buy them. Sometimes if I just saw stuff, but we'd go to yard sales and to the Goodwill. You'd always find a Atari with half a dozen whatever games, and you hardly ever saw Turmoil. It didn't seem like it was that common to me, but apparently it is. I like the way the box and the cartridge look. Let's see. Here's the box scan. I like the way 20th Century Fox had their logo with the little stripes and the black in the background, and I like the way they did the lettering. It's just it's really cool box. Now, there were two releases. There was another one, and I'm assuming by the design of the cartridge, you see here, that this is probably somewhere overseas. If anybody out there knows, chime in, let us know where that is. Asia, South America, I don't know, but it's those games that come from over there always have these weird looking, just strange. The pictures and all of them are really strange. But that particular Zellers is the name of the company that released it. It's more rare. It's a 5, so it's halfway up the scale. Now, over at rarityguide.com, they've got the American release, the USA release. 23%, which the higher this is, the harder it is to find. And they have loose copies for 5, complete inbox 27, and new inbox 54. And if you jump down to the Zellers copy, it goes up quite a bit. You see 24, 75, and 109. Now let's jump over to eBay and let's see what people are wanting for this. Okay, you got $13 for what looks like a copy that looks like it's in pretty good condition with free shipping. Here's a complete in-box copy for $25 with $6.75. All right. Let's see, $5.95. That was an auction. Let's see, it's still going. There's one for $7.25 and $5. So, of course, a lot of condition depends on it. A lot of times the label's beat up. People won't ask for as much. But you can see it's not hard to find. It's not an expensive game at all. Here's a $35 one that's complete. It looks pretty nice. Yeah, that looks nice for $35 and $8.45 shipping. Yeah, not bad. Still got the little hanging tag on the back. A lot of people like that when they collect the game. Cool. Okay, let's see if anybody has been buying them. Wait a minute. Hold on. We got to do this. Let me go back to the offer where they're selling them still. And I saw that a lot of people who are into the retro gaming scene really don't like these companies I should say that WATA company. And you might want to look it up yourself. If what I've been seeing about them is true, it looks like it's incredibly shady the way they do business. But here's somebody who had a WATA game graded at 8, and it's $329. I saw another one. Let's see. Here's one that's a 9 for $5.75. Man, that seems to be correct. That's too much. 9.2, $7.75. Man, that's insane. Okay, we did that. Now let's see what they are actually sold for. Okay, $12.98 free shipping for the cart. Somebody bought a WATA one. Here it is. Okay, $111.38. I guess that doesn't seem too terrible. I mean, if you really wanted a copy that was sealed up like that. 13 bids. How many people bidded on this bad boy? 8 different people bid on it. And it was listed for 99 cents. And it went on for 10 days. So that doesn't seem too bad. If you really wanted a sealed copy that was packed up like that. Okay. I guess that's really about it. That's all we got. If y'all made it this far, please like the video and subscribe. I've got 7 subscribers. So I appreciate y'all that have signed up. My next project, I believe, is going to be probably about M-Network Super Challenge Football for the 2600. Big history with me with that game. I was really good at it. And, anytime you can win it all the time at a video game, who doesn't like that? So I'm going to sign off now. I'm grateful for y'all for watching the video. Like and subscribe. I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.